I'm joined here now by Mike Burton. Mike, have you been keeping an eye on the rugby this weekend?
Yep, I'm over in Clonmel obviously for the festivities, but I was a little bit sad to see England go down in the Parc de France. Sorry, it's the Stade de France now, isn't it? They keep changing it, you know. When I played, I played 5 times against France. I had 5 good hidings, so I know what it's like over there. It's a very physical, and just a couple of points. But I fancy Ireland are at Twickenham this year, and so I fancy we'll get our own back there when you come and visit us in HQ.
I don't. You played for England and also the Lions. What's the highlight of your career, would you think?
Well, I went with 2 Irishmen actually, Willie John McBride, Sid Miller, and we went to South Africa in '74, and we won. We came home undefeated, 22 games. Something I've always thought, if I was as successful as that in dog racing, I'd be rich. But you know, sadly it's not the case. But you know, it was a great time. It was a great tour, very memorable and historic.
Where did your interest in greyhound racing stem from?
As a boy, I played my rugby for Gloucester, and there was a track there when I was growing up as a youngster. I'm going to be honest and tell you now that Swindon, who's now an official, it wasn't when NGRC, that was a flapping track at the time, and I used to take my grounds there when I was a young lad. I went off to Northaw, which was where all the GRA dogs were trained, and I worked for Gordon Hodson. He trained at Haringey, White City, and then I went on to Wembley. I worked for Jimmy Rimmer and Jack Kinsley, an Irish trainer, and at the end I was very pleased to have some time with what they called a private trainer in those days. They're now called unattached, but John Bassett won the Derby in 1963, and I trained a dog, or was with him. I made the tea, I was the kennel boy, I don't want to kid myself, but he had a dog called Kilbeg Cuda, and I had that on the end of my leash, and I was very proud. Probably that was the best I did until Screen Critic came along. And
you got to the final of the English Derby?
Yep, I was here. I saw Glenanor Dancer, and the great Ashford Castle. It was, I think it won 7 out of 7. I was sadly injured, but I was impressed with Screen Critic. I went back home, spoke to Kevin Hutton, who trains for me. I told him about this, and told him I'd like something a bit quicker. And lo and behold, the next time I went to the kennels, Screen Critic. So I don't know how he did it, but fair dues to him. And I had a lot of fun with the dog. He got injured last summer in the Select Stakes, but he's just coming back now. He's had 2 sprint trials, and he's out again on Tuesday in Swindon for a trial, and I'm hopeful that we'll have him for the Arc and maybe the Derby later in the summer.
Brilliant. And does Kevin train all of your dogs?
Yeah, we got about half a dozen. I have them with my grandson George. We got 6 dogs, and we you know, generally I always say he keeps the prize money and I pay the bills, but the truth is we got them between us, and we have a lot of fun, you know.
You've had an action-packed few days over here in Ireland. What do you think of the Irish greyhound industry?
Well, it's got government support. Every track you go to, so they've got standardised distances. There's good facilities, and sadly in England, we haven't got that. We've got probably half a dozen tracks, you know, that are bookmaker owned and very well run. You don't have to say that because they're probably run as part of their overall business. But the greyhound industry in Ireland, when people tell me that it's not as good as Australia, probably it isn't. When I go to Australia, I understand the prize money there is much greater. I always go to the dog racing out there, but in Ireland, you've got something very special. You know, the breeding, the understanding of the industry. It's in the heart and soul of the people, and I always enjoy myself when I come here. From
an English perspective, do you think that Wimbledon need Pascal Taggart's bid to succeed?
Well, he'd be a great help to us because he's vastly experienced the work that he did here in Ireland. In really, I mean, he did a great deal to save the Irish greyhound industry. And if the Irish authorities, the IGB, could have a leg or an arm or something in a big track in London, it would be helpful for all of us. They're quite prepared to run under the British Greyhound Association rules, but I think we need their promoters. You see, what we've got in England, the authorities are great regulators. You know, the integrity of the sport they look after, and the welfare of greyhounds and so on, but they're not promoters. And in Ireland you do have promoters, and Pascal Taggart is the best of them. So we do need him. He's put out a brilliant call on television in England last week, and there'll be a large number of people that go to this next big meeting where Boris, what's his name, the Lord Mayor of London will be there, and Pascal will be there to tell him what we feel. He's going to get a lot of support from us, and we're very appreciative.